Hello and welcome back to the Science of Mass Effect Andromeda, where in this first episode we are going to start playing the game. But before we do that, I thought it'd be nice, because I kind of forgot to mention it in my introduction, to very briefly recap the main themes in the first trilogy and see what Andromeda does with them, or if it completely ignores them and goes for completely different themes. So, of course, the main one I touched on already is, AI. What if AI develops, and how would AI, synthetic life, relate to organic life? Another very strong theme is growing up and child-parent relationships, right? In the first Mass Effect game, humanity as a whole was kind of still growing up, finding its place as, say, a grown-up adult species within the Council, and how it relates to the other Council members, how it can kind of gain a place for itself. In the second Mass Effect game, I think literally all the companion side quests, maybe not the DLC because I haven't played that, but all the other ones are about parent-child relationships, right? Either, you're helping people do something with their parents or with their children and solve those relationships. And then the final ME game, ME3, I think is arguably about becoming a parent. The Krogans literally become a parent. The Quarians, maybe it depends a bit on which ending you choose. I chose to kind of live together with the Geth. The Quarians and the Geth together have to make this new world for their offspring. Also, humanity or even all organic life has to kind of, or even organic and synthetic life together in the ending I chose. Are going to create this new world for their offspring. So in that way, kind of metaphorically becoming a parent. Is there anything more to add? Yeah, and kind of, they have to kind of own up to their past actions and then kind of try and make that right for those who will come after. So that's the themes of the original trilogy. Now let's get to actually making a game. Choose gender. I played through ME1 as male, then I save edited ME2 and ME3 I played as female. I think for this game it would be interesting to play as male for change. Also, most of the streams I've seen have been with a female rider. Okay, let's customize appearance. Let's go for a custom appearance. What can we change? Just presets, or can you completely custom? I tend to end up, I notice in RPGs, with kind of either, well, not really myself that I make, but usually I do kind of make kind of an idealized version of myself, or someone I could imagine myself as, right? And I don't that often. I know to go for someone completely different than myself, which is interesting thought. Why do I go for something completely different? Why don't I want to go for something completely different? Actually, I think I kind of like the look of this guy, so we'll select him. It's fine. Select confirm. Choose training. So I can do security. There's alliance military service. Okay, so this is soldiery type things. Biotic. Technical biotic term. Military tenure. Technician. With operate drones, hacking new systems. Might be interesting. Leader. So this is kind of paladin support, looks at it. Scrapper, mostly first soldier into thick of it, most according to Alliance military protocol, occasionally not. Operative, so covered ops. Knowledge, you rarely found use for until the Andromeda initiative. And at this point, if I haven't seen any of the preview stuff, which of course is unlikely, I have no idea what the Andromeda initiative actually is. Also the Lions, only if I've played the previous Mass Effect games. I think I'll go for Technician. So Technician is Systems Alliance Military. I learned to operate drones and hack enemy systems. That sounds interesting. Choose a name. So I can choose a default first name. And I think if I use the default name, they actually call me by this name. So I'm gonna keep that. So I can be Scott, and of course, yeah, speech synthesis software being what it is at the moment, we kind of have to rely on everybody speaking all the lines. So you get this interesting thing where you are the only character, at least in Mass Effect, or nearly the only character who is addressed by their last name. Everyone else is always addressed by the first name. Okay, customize twin. Twin looks fine. Apparently I have a twin. Customize history. Choose the gender of the legendary Commander Shepard, first human Spectre and hero of the Citadel. Current history, female Shepard. That's the only thing I can change. Okay, sure, female Shepard. There's not a lot of customizing history there. Okay. Sure, I want to upload my character. Let's confirm and start the game. I will go for a normal difficulty. And I think I'm going to actually be playing the game. I can shrink down this webcam thing a bit. There, okay. So, loading screen. Interesting how games very much now tend to go for a kind of cinematic intro, right? They introduce themselves the same way.
Every great moment in our history began with a dream. Each bold leap forward was achieved by those willing to do anything to attain it. We are, all of us, leaving behind families, homes, the very birthplace of our species. Some for discovery, to see the unknown. Others for a new start. But today, whatever our reasons, we take the first steps toward a new future for humanity. Today, we begin to make our dream reality.
That's a lot of people. $300, 634 years later. It's been a long trip.
Deep
Oh,
breaths. You're gonna want to take it easy.
I've been taking it easy for 600 years.
Ryder, Scott, Recon Specialist, Pathfinder Mission Team.
Pathfinder team, eh? The ones finding us a home.
Can you make it somewhere tropical? Nice, warm ocean, summer year-round?
How about we get him a cup of coffee first?
The selection process saw the Andromeda Initiative evaluate thousands of potential habitable planets within the galaxy.
Scott Ryder, let's get you checked out. Look here.
After discovering an unusually high ratio of potential candidates, or golden worlds, the Helios cluster was selected as our destination. Now you are a part of the first wave of ARCs arriving in Andromeda, our new home for humanity.
Makes it sound so easy, doesn't it?
Okay, so tone choices. Question is how much they will influence the game, but at least they can kind of influence our own perception of a character, right? Anyway, so quick recap. According to the narrator, we are here for the future of humanity. Yet we talk along at least one SRE, apparently, so not sure how human-focused the Andromeda Initiative is. I'm not quite sure how this relates to the previous game. I think this is just before Shepard's conflict with the Reapers. Maybe some of you with more lore knowledge can correct me on that. But yeah, okay. So we've apparently gone on this initiative to go to Andromeda, and this trip has taken us 634 years. So that's interesting and important point, is that we've kind of effectively committed suicide with respect to everybody we've left behind, right? So the moment you get into that stasis pod, you know, you're never going to see, talk, hear from, whatever, your family ever again. So not only is it a one-way trip, but then, you know, that's been done more often in human history. You know, lots of people that have migrated, for example, in previous centuries to America or to other colonies. They probably didn't have much thought of going back, but at least in theory they could, right? The ships went both ways, and you could certainly keep in touch with people that you left behind through, you know, letters. Also, we now have the Mars 1 initiative, which plans to send people to colonize Mars and to also make that a one-way trip. So people go to Mars and won't come back, will die on Mars of old age, in principle. But at least they can still communicate with their family, right? There'll be a delay in the communication, but you can record a video message, you can write emails, and stay in touch. If you go on the Andromeda initiative, unless you're an Asari, you know that, you know, as soon as you get to that stasis pod, you're never seeing anyone ever again. You know, even if you turn the ship around and come back, you'll come back 1200 years in the future. So, you know, your grandkids, your great grandkids, your great 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 grandkids will all be dead. Put it in human perspective, you know, if you'd left during the reign of Charlemagne, you'd come back now. So, you know, think of how different the world is in between. So basically you've cut all connections with Earth in the hope of Andromeda being somehow better. And apparently 100,000 people were willing to do that. Okay, possible. Certainly not something I would do, but you know, different strokes for different folks. Then we get this intro narration, where we get this kind of slightly contrived exposition, where, you know, the narration is telling you things that, as an Andromeda Initiative participant, you should already know. You know, hopefully they would have told you all this before you actually left. But of course, we as players don't know that. We haven't been through the whole training and preparation process that presumably these colonists had, so they need to tell us that somehow, and it's slightly illogical if you think about it. Okay, so we've learned that apparently there's been a pre-selection, and the Helios cluster has been identified as having lots of habitable worlds. Interesting thing, I wonder if they'll tell us about that, is, you know, how they managed to do that. The Andromeda cluster, or the Andromeda galaxy, is real. It's the nearest galaxy or major galaxy to our Milky Way, and it's one of the few galaxies you can see with the naked eye. The first reference that at least that Wikipedia mentioned is a Persian astronomer who wrote about what we would now call the Andromeda Galaxy in about 900 or so. Andromeda is named after a Greek mythological figure from the legend of Perseus. She was a princess who was going to be sacrificed to a sea monster because her parents had upset the gods, and Perseus defeats the sea monster, frees Andromeda. Names are sometimes symbolic in this game, I've noticed. Right, so Shepherd is obviously a very symbolic name. Shepherd is a shepherd leading humanity to the new future. And now we are a rider, one who rides out. And apparently we're also pathfinders, so we're the one who's going to go out and actually find the good locations. Yeah, that is interesting. Let's go back a step. So apparently they've managed to identify these planets, but the Andromeda Galaxy is 1 million or so light years away, give and take some change. That means all the light that receives us now, so basically all we can see about the galaxy now, is 1 million years old. Right? We can't see the galaxy as it is now, we can only see it as it was 1 million years ago. So the question is, how did they gather data on all these planets and find that they're supposed to be golden worlds? One thing is, the resolution you need is incredibly precise, right? I mean, the galaxy is so far away that, you know, to have the galaxy take up enough pixels that you can identify on whatever detector you're using, identify individual stars and even planets around that in sufficient detail to tell something useful about the planets. It's intense, right? You know, with our current technology, we can just about detect large planets around stars that are not too far away from us, so within a couple of 100 light years. We certainly can't really tell anything about the atmosphere of those planets or things like that, right? You can say how close or far away they are from a star, how big they are. You can say something about their density, because you can determine how fast the star is how fast the planet is orbiting a star that's kind of locked in, and the distance to the star, and from that you can work out the mass of the planet. And for some planets we're able to also determine how big they are. If you know the mass and how big they are, you know their density, and then you can tell, you know, whether it's rock or gas. Right, so whether it's like Jupiter or Saturn, or like Earth or Mars or Mercury. With our current level of technology, you know, we wouldn't be able to tell that the Earth is habitable and Venus not, if they were around a distant star. Apparently the Andromeda Initiative can do this, and even for a galaxy that is 1 million light years away. That is hugely amazing technology in its own right. Apart from the fact that we can actually get here. Everyone has also placed a huge trust in this technology, right? We're in stasis pods that are supposed to last us for 600 and a bit years. We know by playing the Mass Effect trilogy that Protheans had stasis pods that work for 50,000 years. So the technology is apparently possible in the ME universe, but you have a lot of trust in, you know, that your stasis pod isn't going to break down somewhere during the voyage and kill you. Right, even if you do wake up, what are you going to do? You see also passengers. Yeah, so okay, in our universe, we're not that good at making technology that will last for this long. Probably there are some examples of 600-year-old devices that still work. And we don't know much about how stasis pods work, so how likely it is that that's possible. But it's an awful lot of trust to be putting in technology. And it's not really something you can test without, you know, switching it on for 600 years and then after 600 years actually having your initiative go, because then you've proven that it works. Okay. Easy is no fun is very flippant. I'm going to go for that's what we tried for. Coming back for names, Hyperion was, I believe, a also Greek mythological figure. I'm gonna look up what that means, and I'll come back to it in a later episode.
Even if it isn't, we'll be ready.
I hope so.
You know something?
Word came down. The Pathfinder wants you all mission ready within the hour. Look this way?
Why the rush?
He didn't say. But something's up. Okay, everything checks out. Just one more thing before I send you on your way. Let's test your SAM implant. Sam, are you monitoring? Sam, are you online?
Yes, Dr. Taparo. Good morning, Ryder. Are you feeling well?
I just need a second to get my bearings. What's this about my implant?
A routine check. After being in stasis, we want to make sure the connection's still live.
As the team's mission computer, your well-being is my primary concern.
Assuming the implants work as advertised, Sam sees what you see, in theory. We won't know for sure until we get you in the field. How are you feeling otherwise?
This is definitely surely something you've tested before you go out on a one-way trip where there's no way of getting back to Earth and getting new versions or software updates. You know, it's something you would hope to have rigorously field tested before you're going to rely on it. It is a smart idea, of course, if you can upload, what people see directly to the rest of the team. It's something military technology, certainly in our world, is moving towards, right? Fighter planes can share their sensor information, makes it more effective. We're going to go for stealth away.
I feel like a 600-year-old popsicle. I hope you packed more coffee.
Readings confirmed. Based on the levels of adenosine in your system, the neural implant is functioning properly.
Wait, adeno what?
It just means you're still shaking off your nap. No reason why we can't get you on your way. Though you may want to hang around while we revive your sister, it always helps to see a familiar face.
I don't like the sound of that.
Adenosine is a real hormone. I'm not sure what it does. Yeah, it doesn't look good.
What's happening?
It broke free.
Just hang on!
Engineering, report. Try to brace yourself.
Remedy cryo is offline.
Careful of the syringe.
I'm almost inside. Hold on.
This is Cora. I'm at the cryo bay. Brace for a reset.
Everyone okay? I think so.
What happened?
We're not sure. Sensors are scrambled. But it's good to see you're up. Feels like centuries since we spoke.
This is the Pathfinder. Mission teams continue preparations. Cora, Riders, report to the bridge.
You heard him. Let's get...
We have a problem over here. It's Sarah Ryder.
What's wrong? I don't know. Have to check it out.
Alright, so, last brief comment, and I think we will have exceeded the time for this first episode, not make it too long. Zero gravity, artificial gravity, very much a sci-fi trope, especially in movies, of course, because it's really expensive to do zero gravity in movies. So nearly all sci-fi movies, ships have artificial gravity, which nearly always works perfectly, right? In Star Trek, all kinds of things get damaged, monitors blow up, whole ships get destroyed, but almost never does the artificial gravity system fail. Of course, that's very much a movie trope, because it's so expensive to make convincing zero-G shots. Of course, in games you can play with artificial gravity failure much more easily, because it takes some more animations, but you can't just use your normal walking animations. Other than that, you can go all out. It's not that, yes, you need extra animations, but the animations are more difficult, I think, as a non-animator, to make. Anyway, on that note, bad stuff seems to have happened, and next episode we're hopefully gonna find out what exactly. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.